Hi, thanks for coming back to the chopping block. So today we're going to take a look at primary arms 1 to 6x24 with the ACSS reticle. Okay, so I'm super excited about this, and I know that it's not that new, but it's new to me. And my ADD kicked in and I just couldn't wait to do a video on it, even though I haven't actually gotten out and shot it yet. This site has a lot of stuff going on. It's got a lot of features packed into one site. Aside from just the features, the execution of the features is really good. For example, it has an illuminated reticle, but it's much brighter than most etched glass battery illuminated reticles. Maybe not quite as bright as a TA31, but it's very daylight visible. Really pops. It's bright enough that if you're not actually looking into a bright sunlit place, you really have to turn the illumination down. Now, maybe that's not as important to a lot of people because it is an etched reticle and you don't have to have it illuminated, but that really makes it pop. At 1 power, it has a little bit of distortion around the edges, but very little, and the eye box is huge. So it feels, just shouldering the rifle, it feels a lot like an aim point or EOTech or any other no magnification sight. It feels like it truly is very close to the actual 1 power. It has space under the windage cap for a spare battery. It has a lot of the features actually that existed on the Millet that I reviewed earlier. It has this zero disc. It doesn't change the point of impact, but after you zero the rifle, zero the scope, you locate this witness mark that's in the threads of the threads for the cap, and you rotate this little notch in this disc around, line it up with that divot, and then if you need to adjust windage or elevation, you can always come back to 0. It has real positive clicks, loud clicks, and it takes some concerted effort to move the dials so you can't accidentally run too many clicks over. And you zero your rifle and you want to go, say, 6 clicks, and you go 1, 2, 3, 82. That's a lot harder to do with this one. The magnification adjustment ring has a little bump on it, makes it a little faster to move, and of course that acts as a little bit of an indication of where it's sitting so you can feel what power it's at. If it's all the way over to the right, it's at 1 power. If it's all the way over to the left, it's at 6 power. It is difficult not to compare it to the Millet, so we may as well go ahead and set them side by side. You can see that the Millet is significantly longer and perhaps a little bit wider in the body, but mainly quite a bit longer than the primary arms sight. They both weigh almost exactly the same. The primary arms weighs 0.1 ounce more than the Millet. The star of this show, though, is this ACSS reticle. It has the ability to range targets using both the horizontal measurement of shoulder to shoulder, 18 inches for an average adult male, as well as the vertical measurement of 5 foot 11 inches, or I think it's 5 foot 10 inches for the average adult male. Again, the reason that really matters is, well, for one thing, in a fight, the bad guy isn't always necessarily going to line himself up for you in such a way that you can measure the shoulders exactly or the height exactly. So it's nice to be able to have a choice. The other reason that it matters a lot is that the larger the object you're using to range, the more precisely you can measure the range. So if I'm measuring 5 feet 10 inches instead of 18 inches, I can get a much more precise estimation of the distance. The reticle compensates for bullet drop for several different calibers, and it comes with a chart that tells you where to zero for each caliber and load so that you can be dead on for particular ranges. But in addition to the range estimation, it also has windage and running leads. So at the 100 meter, it has dots for running targets so that you can automatically apply a lead for the speed that most people run at. It has windage dots so that you can apply windage automatically for a 5 mile per hour wind, and obviously it makes it easy enough to apply a 2 mile per hour windage adjustment by just cutting that in half. There's a lot of stuff going on in the reticle, but still it manages not to be too busy. The reticle sits in the second focal plane, so that means that it only works to range or compensate for bullet drop at 6 power. At first that seems like maybe a bad choice, like why didn't they put it in the first focal plane so that the scale would stay valid across multiple distances. The problem is that if they had done that, then at 1 power the reticle would be very, very tiny, and it wouldn't be as fast and easy to get on targets at close range at 1 power. So I think they made the right choice. If you're up close, the ranging features don't work, but it's fast, and that's the point for being at 1 power. If you want to range, you need to move over to 6 power. One of the things I like the most about it is that obviously it doesn't take up quite as much space as that millet did, but the eye box is huge. At 1 power, I can put my cheek virtually anywhere on the stock, and even if I'm not lined up quite right, I can still see the reticle. I've got to be well off the center line of the rifle before I can't see the reticle through the sight. Come on, guys. You can do it. There we go. Whatever. So far, this looks like an outstanding sight for the price. It's $290 about on the Primary Arms website. So still a pretty mid-range sight, but with a lot of versatility built into it. Of course, you can get out to the range and do some shooting with it, but at first glance, this is an absolutely outstanding sight at any price, and especially at this price. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the sight or what you'd like to know about it. I appreciate your support. You guys have a great day.
You got